The AI revolution appears unstoppable, with the billionaires driving it still talking up a new world of promise.
A new study from Anthropic shows white-collar jobs are the most vulnerable to AI.
Concerns are growing about AI replacing some human workers. Major companies like Microsoft, Walmart, and Business Insider are laying off employees amid the rise of artificial intelligence.
While for most people, it's mostly stirring anxieties about their jobs.
Somewhere on the internet right now, there's a list of jobs that AI is supposedly wiping out. Some of it is true, a lot of it isn't. We're ranking 9 real jobs that AI has actually started to change, using real numbers from real companies and the real government instead of scary internet lists. But one super famous job, the kind that shows up on almost every one of those lists, actually isn't losing jobs at all. Stick around for that one. Here's the number that kicks this whole thing off. There's a company called Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, and their entire job is counting layoffs every single month across the whole country. In June 2026, they counted 14,029 job cuts, where the company itself said the reason was AI. That's about as many people as you'd find packed into a big concert arena. And it wasn't a random spike, it was 31% of every job cut that month in any industry. Almost 1 out of every 3 people who lost a job in America, the highest share since Challenger started tracking AI as its own category 3 years ago. 4 months in a row now, AI has been the #1 reason companies gave for cutting jobs in America. Zoom out and it gets bigger. In the first 6 months of 2026, employers pointed at AI for 101,743 job cuts, more people than live in a lot of small cities. That already beats all of last year combined, when the total was 54,836. Added up since Challenger started counting 3 years ago, and the running total is 173,568 job cuts, enough people to fill 2.5 football stadiums, where a company put AI in writing as the reason. Andy Challenger, who runs the research there, said it plainly. Tech remains the epicenter of this year's cuts. AI is the dominant force. Epicenter just means ground zero. That's not one company's headline. That's this month's paperwork across the whole country. But hang on a second. That number tells you AI is showing up in the paperwork. It doesn't tell you which jobs are actually shrinking and which ones just look scary on a chart but aren't. So for this list, I didn't trust anybody's summary. I read the actual documents myself. The Challenger report, a big Stanford research paper, real filings companies sent to the government's Securities and Exchange Commission. That's the agency that makes public companies tell the truth about big changes, the government's own job tables, and the original company announcements. 9 jobs made the ranked list. One more big number before the countdown starts. A group called the World Economic Forum asked more than 1,000 employers, covering over 14 million workers in 55 countries, what they expect by 2030. Their answer? 170 million new jobs created, 92 million jobs lost, netting out to 78 million more jobs than we have now. Here's the important part. The World Economic Forum says that churn comes from lots of big trends at once. Technology, the economy, population changes, the shift to green energy, not from AI alone. Keep that in your back pocket, because everything else in this countdown is blamed specifically on AI, by name, in a real document. This number isn't that. Number 9 on our list, office jobs like data entry and filing paperwork. The government's own job forecasters predict that data entry jobs will shrink by 25.2% within about 10 years, dropping from around 163,900 workers down to about 122,800. File clerk jobs are expected to shrink too by 15.7%, from about 9,300 down to roughly 7,900. 2 different jobs, 2 different numbers, both among the steepest drops the government tracks for any job in the whole country. And here's something wild. This isn't some new AI panic. The government saw this coming before ChatGPT was ever a headline. Number 8, junior and freelance writers, the kind of writer just starting out. On a freelance work website called Upwork, entry-level writing jobs have sunk below 9% of everything posted, down from about 15% the year before, according to a company called Volna that studied 2.2 million job listings on the site. That same study found writing jobs overall dropped 32% in a single year, the steepest fall of any category on the whole platform. But here's a twist worth remembering for later. One category on that same site didn't drop at all. Design and creative jobs actually went up 0.5%. Hold on to that. Number 7. Business support staff at big law firms, meaning IT, marketing, and design people, not the lawyers, and not the paralegals either. In February 2026, a giant law firm called Baker McKenzie started cutting those support jobs, saying it was reviewing what it called business professional functions. One outlet put the number at around 600, less than 10% of the firm's global support staff. Other reports said it could climb as high as 1,000. The firm says these roles are being phased out or will evolve. In plain English, some of these jobs just disappear, and the people in them don't automatically land somewhere better. But here's the twist. Baker McKenzie hasn't touched its lawyers, and it hasn't touched its paralegals. Paralegal unemployment sits at just 3.6%, tighter than the roughly 4.3% national rate. That job, despite the scary headlines, is actually one of the safer jobs in the whole legal world. Number 6, the office workers behind insurance companies, not the people who sell you insurance, the people running things behind the scenes. Acrisure, the 8th biggest insurance broker in the world, announced about 2,250 job cuts this year, around 11% of its whole workforce. That's like emptying out a big high school. The company's CEO, Greg Williams, didn't dance around the reason. He wrote it in an internal memo. Advances in technology, AI, and digital platforms. And this wasn't the first time. It's the second time in 7 months Acrisure has blamed AI for cutting jobs. Number 5, bookkeepers and accounting clerks, the people who do the basic number crunching. This time, it's not one company's memo, it's a nationwide prediction sitting in the government's own numbers. Bookkeeping and accounting clerk jobs are expected to shrink by 6% over the next 10 years. But look right next door on that same government chart. Accountants and auditors, the people who do the higher level thinking, are expected to grow by 5% over that same decade. Same office, sometimes the same building, and 2 totally opposite lines on the same government chart. The repetitive, step-by-step tasks are shrinking. The judgment calls sitting one desk over are growing. Number 4, customer service reps, and the case study here is one you've probably already heard of. Klarna, an online payments company, teamed up with OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and announced back in 2024 that its AI assistant was doing the work of 700 full-time customer service agents, handling 2.3 million conversations in its first month alone, about 2/3 of all its customer service chats. It cut the average wait time from 11 minutes down to under 2. You probably heard that headline. Here's what almost nobody shared. Klarna's own announcement said this was capacity the company avoided hiring, not 700 real people who got fired. That's a huge difference, and it got flattened within days. Then, a little over a year later, Klarna quietly reversed course. Its own CEO, Sebastian Siemiatkowski, told Bloomberg on the record, as cost unfortunately seems to have been a too predominant evaluation factor when organizing this, what you end up having is lower quality. Basically, cutting corners to save money made things worse, and Klarna admitted it. The company switched to a mix of AI and humans and started hiring again. Even the experts don't agree on what happens next. One research firm, Forrester, predicts 49% of today's customer service jobs will disappear by 2030. But a survey by a different research firm, Gartner, found only 20% of customer service leaders say they've actually cut jobs because of AI so far, and 55% say their headcount hasn't changed at all, even with more customers to help. The government's own prediction sits right in the conservative middle, a 5% decline by 2034, even with 341,700 job openings every year from normal turnover. Number 3, brand new software developers, the ones just starting their careers. Researchers at Stanford studied paycheck data covering more than 25 million American workers. Across all the jobs most exposed to AI, workers between 22 and 25 years old saw a 16% bigger drop in employment compared to older workers doing similar work. Narrow that down to software developers specifically, and employment for that same young age group is down nearly 20% from its peak, a peak that happened right around when ChatGPT first came out. Even the researchers who found this are careful. They say the pattern fits with AI causing this. They don't claim they've proven it for certain, and I'd rather give you their honest hedge than a cleaner sentence that isn't really theirs. Number 2, translation work, specifically the in-house kind at big institutions, not translators as a whole career. At a conference called Davos, the head of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, said her own organization's in-house translation staff had shrunk from 200 people down to just 50, and she pointed to more use of technology as the reason. 3 out of every 4 gone. A translator named Timothy McKeon told CNN he's lost about 70% of his income as that kind of work dried up. He won't do cleanup work on AI translated text because doing that would mean training the very software replacing him. But here's the distinction that matters most in this whole video. The government's own job forecast still predicts translator and interpreter jobs will grow overall, slower than average, but grow, not shrink. One organization cut its own staff 4-to-1. The official nationwide number for the job itself is still going up. Those are 2 completely different facts, and mixing them together is exactly how one real documented cut turns into a scary myth about an entire career. Number 1, long-haul truck drivers. This is the only one on the list with actual trucks on actual highways right now. Not a prediction, not a survey. A company called Aurora had its self-driving trucks log more than 250,000 miles on public roads with nobody sitting in the driver's seat, farther than a one-way trip to the moon. A few months later, that number had climbed past 370,000 miles, more than 14 times around planet Earth, with 0 crashes caused by its own driving system, according to Aurora's own filing with the government. Aurora's own stated goal is to have more than 200 fully driverless trucks running real deliveries by the end of the year. A competitor, Kodiak, had already logged more than 23,500 hours of paid driverless operation using 28 trucks with nobody behind the wheel at all. So how many trucking jobs are actually at risk? Depends who you ask. One widely repeated number says 500,000 long-haul jobs. A more careful study from UC Berkeley's Labor Center says 294,000. Whichever number is closer to right, the trucks aren't waiting for the debate to finish. They're already out there, driving. That's the ranked 9. Now, the job I promised you at the very start, graphic designers. This job shows up on almost every single AI will take your job list on the internet. So is it another AI casualty? Actually, no. The government's own numbers predict graphic designer jobs will grow by 2% over the next 10 years, with 20,000 to 21,100 job openings every year, mostly from people retiring, not from anybody getting fired. Adobe's own wage report found graphic designers took the smallest pay hit of 9 creative jobs it studied, down just 1.2% over an entire decade. And remember that Upwork number from earlier? Design and creative postings were up 0.5% on the very same site where writing jobs collapsed by 32%. The real, careful claim is narrower than the scary headline. AI tools help designers draft ideas faster, and that might mean less freelance contract work specifically. That is not the same thing as the job disappearing. Treating every job that ever gets mentioned near AI as proof it's dying is exactly the kind of sloppy thinking that put graphic designers on lists where they don't actually belong. So add it all up, and the real version of this list looks pretty different from the one going around online. Some of these jobs really are being cut on paper, by name, with a real number and a real CEO's own words attached. That's office and admin work. That's the people behind insurance companies. That's support staff at law firms. Some are messier than the viral clip makes them sound, Klarna being the biggest example, a company that announced one number. Watched the whole internet turn it into the decade's favorite AI headline, then spent a year quietly walking it back while almost nobody noticed. And at least one job, maybe the very one you expected to see first, isn't actually losing ground at all. The gap between what AI can probably do and what some list on the internet says it's already done, that gap is where most of the panic on this topic actually lives. You can only see that gap by going and checking the real document yourself, not the version that already went viral.